olive oil and butter together. Then you fry the onions and then add the rest of it, cook it down, and then add the tomatoes and stuff. Onions first, and a little bit of salt. Get them to kind of breaking down, smelling good. Today I'm going to make a puff pastry, and I'm going to make a Italian meatball strudel with it. And first I'm going to make the dough, and the dough I'm going to make for this, the warm water, put some honey in it. A little bit of salt, half a teaspoon or so, a little less. I'm going to put some baking powder in it so it rises a little better. Make sure it's not too hot. If the water's too warm, you kill your yeast. I just warmed this water up. It's 100 degrees, that's perfect. Now I put yeast in it. About, I don't know, a tablespoon or something, a package worth. Then a little bit of flour, and I make a sponge. Let it rise for a little bit and get it going. Then after the sponge is started, then I add the rest of the ingredients. Right now we just leave it sit. Now the onion got some color, just starting to cook down a little bit. Added the flavor. I add mushrooms, a red pepper, and a little bit of jalapeno pepper, because that's what I had. You could use portobello, or not portobello, poblano, or serrano, whatever. You going? Okay. Now we're starting to get a little bit of caramelization here. I make a little empty spot in the middle here. I put a little bit of tomato paste in there to kind of wake it up a little bit. Then I add the spices. I'm going to put some paprika, some white pepper, and a little bit of cayenne, just it seems like not much. Then you kind of just wake these spices up, like roasting them a little bit in the pan. The tomato will get a little bit of a roasted sun-dried tomato taste. In this. And let's get a little good bond on there on the tomatoes. Tomato sauce. And cook it down. Might add a little bit of brown sugar and see how it tastes. A little bit of apple cider vinegar, just a tablespoon maybe. Now let this cook down. If it seems a little runny, then I add a little bit of tomato paste. Let's see how it cooks down. Put it on lower heat here. I gave it a taste, and it needs a little bit of sweetness, so a little bit of brown sugar goes a long way. And then the garlic I always add at the end, so you taste it. I smashed and chopped this. All right, you can see it kind of getting a sponge here. It's foaming up. I know my yeast is going. I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil to this. And then I'll start adding flour until I get kind of a dry dough, not real sticky. You can always add flour, but once you go too far with the flour and you want to try and add water, and then it's kind of hard. You can do it, but you're better off going at it this way. Adding flour until you get where you want to be. All right, we'll let that rise. And then after it rises, we'll add a little more flour. Now I put it in a warm place. Got the oven warmed up. Warm towel. It's the key to dough. You gotta have it the right temperature. Really matters. I've been simmering this for about a half hour. It's looking pretty good. Seeing as how it's gonna be in a strudel, I'm gonna thicken it up just a little bit more with some more tomato paste. Because that way it'll cook better. You don't have as much water. And then that's it. I'm gonna turn it off. And then tomorrow I'll be putting all this together. All right, it's about doubled in size and let it for about an hour. I'm going to put it out here on the rolling pad here and knead it out. The reason I use 11 bread for this is because I wanted the gluten. I like the strudel to be a little closer like real bread than cake. A lot of people just use baking powder or self-rising bread, and that's not what I'm looking for here. It's still pretty sticky dough, so I'm gonna add some flour to it. Ugh. It's sticking to my pad. All right. Nice and warm, just the way you want it. Build that gluten in there so it's nice, tasty bread. All right, I'm gonna let it rise again in the oven. And then I'll probably do that again. Okay, this is the meatballs for the strudel. We got deer meat, olive oil. Deer meat's really lean, so I add a little bit of olive oil to it. Season it with a little bit of onion powder, some salt, oregano, because that's what I used in the sauce. I'm gonna cook these meatballs pretty dry because they're gonna cook again inside the strudel in the sauce, so they'll be able to kind of hydrate in there. Black pepper and white pepper. Then I'll mix it up. Did I put the oregano in there? Yeah. And I'll mix it up with a fork. I'll make some meatballs. I'm gonna go with about that size of meatballs. Lay them out on this tray. Cook them in the oven for a while and then save them for tomorrow. And in the oven it goes, 350 until they're good and cooked. This is the last knead before I put it in the fridge overnight. So it's doubled in size again. And it's still a little sticky, so I'm gonna roll a little bit more flour into it and put it in the fridge and pick it up tomorrow in the morning. All right, in the fridge for the night, and tomorrow we'll put it all together, and it'll be yummy. This is in the fridge all night, and it's cold. You want it to be cold for this. We're gonna make the puff pastry. It seems a little bit sticky yet, so I'm going to add a little bit of flour. Not a lot. All right, well, you got to try and make a rectangle out of this stuff so you can fold it right. But you roll it out. Once you get a rectangle about like this, you take frozen butter and you shred it on here. Right? You really can't touch this with your fingers as it melts instantly. But you take and spread it around a little bit here. You got to kind of pat it down so it doesn't move when you roll it. You just, ooh, it's sticking terrible. Ooh, this isn't working. That didn't work. Don't do that. This is the first time I tried that. It was a mistake. Spread it out a little better. You don't want big clumps like I got now. Yeah. You fold it. Fold it. Quick. Like a bunny. And you roll it out. This dough's already getting warm. So every time you fold it, you're adding layers. So you fold it. Try and keep a rectangle so you can fold it okay. I'm gonna do one more fold here. Like I said, don't shred the paper. Roll it out a little. And I gotta put it back in the fridge now. Let it get cold again. Sticking to this too. Gosh. As soon as I want to make a video.
What, parchment paper works better?
Maybe. Okay, I should have just had more lower on it. All right, it was in the fridge. You got to keep the stuff cold, otherwise it doesn't work. It's good. Well, I'm gonna roll it out again. Right, then we're going to do it again with the butter. Right. Try and get it to the edges the best you can. I'll do a tri-fold here. Try it as quickly as possible. And roll it again. Every time you fold it, you make more layers. If you have too much flour, it doesn't laminate, or it delaminates. So you just got to work with the minimal amount of flour that you can. Like I said, you got to keep the stuff cold. Once it starts to warm up, the butter starts to kind of scoosh out the sides. Another fold. Another fold. And I'm gonna put it in the fridge for a while again. And then after that, I think I'm gonna make the stuff. You could just keep going with this and make more layers, but like I said, I've gone so far that I've had it squishing out the sides. There's the dough. Didn't stick this time. All right, now we're gonna make the strudel. So I gotta form this into a long, thin rectangle. And start out with my hands. It's getting there. Let's transfer to the cutting board. Now, you gotta shape the strudel thing here. Lay this out. You divide it into thirds, just score it a little bit here. Not cutting it. Like that. And you gotta cut the ends off here. One of these. Egg is glue. You gotta attach the end here. And then you cut up to the line. All right, now the sauce I made yesterday, it thickened up nice. You want it thick because you don't want it running everywhere. This is the filling, put it up the middle here. Looks all right. Meatballs I made yesterday. Looks pretty good. Now you fold your ends in. My glue didn't sit very good, but oh well. Then you start folding these in. I put cheese in here too. All right, let's do this again. Fold the ends in. And you start folding these over. My helper's eating my cheese. All right, I'm gonna move it on to the cooking sheet here, and then I'll do the rest. All right. Now, coat it with egg. Lots of egg. Okay, and I'll put a couple pepperonis on top. And then in a 350-degree oven till it's done.